Hey, this is AV Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com. In this review, I will be highlighting the transformation, special features, and other notables of the DX Engine Gattai Engine DaiShōgun from the 2008 Super Sentai series Engine Sentai go-onger and the tie-in movie Engine Sentai go-onger Boom Boom Bang Bang Gekijo Bang. Sounds kind of cool. Engine DaiShōgun makes its debut in the movie, but it also makes a cameo in Grand Prix episodes 39 and 40. So I haven't seen the movie yet, so the only way I recognize these on screen is from promotional materials from the movie and from the 2 episodes of the series which I have seen. So these are, from what my understanding, these are called wandering engines, which means they are not. This is not Speedor, not Busan, and this is not Bear RV. Instead, we have Retsutaka, Shishi no Shin, and Suki no Wa. They're different engines, the different personalities, different everything about them. They just so happen to land in Samurai World, which is one of the 11 dimensions that's mentioned in the series, which is based on the Edo era of Japan, of feudal Japan from like the 1600s to the 1800s. So that's why they kind of have these stylistic colors and some changes to the molds. Do a quick review of each of these. The first one we're dealing with here is Retsutaka, or Retsutaka, however you say his name. I don't know how you say his name. Retsutaka is a repaint of, obviously, Speedor from the DX Engine Gattai Engine O set. The only modifications they made, molds-wise, is these were redesigned, and the beak was redesigned to, it's got those rivets and those, not rivets, but it's got bolts and those bands of armor, and then it's got this great big crest along the top. So those are the only modifications other than coloring that they made. So he can still, I don't know if he does this in the movie, but he doesn't do it in the series cameo, but he still has his, he still has his flight mode or whatever it is, or he can recreate it. Whether or not Retsutaka actually does that in the movie, I have no idea. So I want to point out very quickly how the specialized engine sole here works, which I'll be getting into a little later. Because these are repaints, the engine sole compartments will open up the same way. For Engine DaiShōgun, the 3 wandering engines do not use engine sole cartridges. You have to watch the movie to figure out why. And they don't use them in the TV series either. So even though these are repaints, they can certainly accept engine sole cartridge toys, but in the series and the movie, they don't have that. So instead, Bandai provides us with a special edition engine sole. I don't know if it's called an engine sole, but I'm just going to assume. And I'm just going to highlight what it can do with just Retsutaka. Unlike all of the other engine sole cartridges which I have encountered up to this point, none of them have been nearly as touchy as this one is. It's very, you just saw, it should have done, the typical power-up sound, and then you hear the horns, and that should have been it. No, you hear the... That's probably my biggest complaint, really my only big complaint with the Engine DaiShōgun set, is that engine sole cartridge is very sensitive. I don't know why it's moving around like that. You can't hear the engine sole shifting around. I can't hear it, but clearly that power up button is moving around a lot. So I think it might just be a quality control issue. I don't think all the other engine soles have this problem. And so as I go along with the video, if that happens again, well, you've been forewarned. With just Retsutaka, you can do this with Shishi no Shin and Suki no Wa, but I just prefer to keep the engine sole cartridge inside of Retsutaka. In individual engine form, it has one sound effect, triggered the same way as it is with Speedor. That's not it. No. No, 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 no. Didn't I tell you? And that's the only sound effect it has. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to edit out the goof-ups. Next, we'll be dealing with engine Shishi no Shin, which I'm not quite sure what that means. Which is, it's a straight repaint of engine Basan, who is this guy, also from the DX Engine O. So, the only changes that they made, they only made two changes. One is they actually put a mustache on him, which is, you know, reminiscent of the artistic style during that time. But it also explains... Ah! There goes his lip ferret. It also finally explains why it is that these holes were there. It's these little things that clip on here. Now, by the time this video has been made, Engine OG12 has made its appearance, which had Kyoritsu O involved. And so you also know that there's also an armored plate or whatever that sticks on the front here, but this is one of the two reasons why those holes are there. The other thing is the engine ken, which is a katana, and this is PVC blade and then ABS for the rest of it. So the clips you can see are on one side, and what it does, it uses the holes that you would use to form engine OG12. So it's got this hole here from, was it Kyoritsu O's, the arm or whatever it is, as it attaches here. And then what happens is, you can see the post here and the tab here just fit right into there. And the other clip here does not, it doesn't clip on the thing, it just rests there. So those are the only changes that were made to Shishi no Shin. And finally, we have Suki no Wa, who is, I think it means crescent moon or something like that, some little name. The only modification they made is they changed her button nose. That's the only change they made to Suki no Wa. So otherwise, she is a perfect repaint of Bear RV. One thing I'd like to point out real quickly before I get on with the transformation and all the other features is that the three wandering engines use Daishi symbols, I don't know how you pronounce it, which are, they are numbers. I mean, this is the number 1 for Retsutaka, the number 2 for Shishi no Shin, and you guessed it, the number 3 for Suki no Wa. So that's that's the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, they are different in modern day era of Japan. Believe it or not, these symbols are still used in modern Japan, but they were more prominently used during the Edo era. Engine Gattai! ABS, PVC, PVC, both sides pop off if they need to. Transformation is almost perfectly identical, with 1 or 2 minor exceptions, to the way the DX Engine O transforms. And you leave the lip ferret on there. There, and this goes back here, and you get the engine Gattai engine DaiShōgun, grandly marching into battle. Posability and features are thus. We already know about this. We know this. We love this. We see this every frickin' year. Got a little bit of this. Only snaps there. Doesn't really snap there. This is nice to have, but it's nice to see again, but it doesn't work quite as well as I'd like it to, and we all know that. So that's the limits in posability. That's all it does for posing. ordinarily you'd pull the go-on sword out from. Ordinarily, you pull the engine sword out from the engine O, pull it out back here. You know, just pull it out, and it's this flimsy Swiss Army knife crap that looks like an engine soul cartridge. I don't know why. Instead, you get the engine Ken back here, the samurai sword. What I like is it's actually tilted at a slight angle, so that's pretty cool. And it just latches using this one connection up here, fits in there. These two down here, they fit down here, but they don't actually attach. It doesn't snap into anything. Like the engine O and its go-on sword, this sword does not fit very well. It's very, very loose, as you can see. I mean, you can tighten up the hand, but just the weight of it makes it droop down. So you've got that feature. And then in the movie and the series, traditionally, you know, the sword would be, you know, placed on the hip, like so. But actually, one of the few complaints I'd have is I wish there'd been a clip or something, like an accessory clip you could have stuck on there, and then put the engine Ken on there. But that didn't happen. So instead, and you just have to guess at this. It's not in the instructions. You just have to make it squeeze it as hard as it can, and you can have it hold it at its side like that. So, and that's how, you know, how it walks around in the series. It walks around like that, even though the toy stores the engine Ken on the back. It doesn't actually put it back there. So, the engine O also has the V shield, which is, you know, this thing pops off, but the engine DaiShōgun does not use it. So, I don't know why, but it doesn't use it. So, and that's it for the special features of the engine DaiShōgun. And now I'll be doing this thing again. Yep. This isn't spring powered, it just falls. This is why I didn't have that engine soul put in there the whole time I was transforming. It's very sensitive. I don't know why. It actually gets to be annoying. So, the special features are thus, because as we all know by now, when the engine, or when the engine block, you know, the head, when it's flipped over, it pushes down on these tabs on the top. See these two red tabs here. It pushes down on that, and that's the trigger switch or whatever it is that changes between the, you know, the character sound effects and then the one-size-fits-all stuff. So that's a musical phrase that's heard in the series as much as it is in the movie. So that's why that's there. And that's the only other feature that's used. So this particular engine soul is a little limiting in that regard. There's a pair of sound effects which are available in the specialized engine soul, which you can't get access to by using Retsutaka, Shishinoshin, or Tsukinowa. So I'm going to be using a very special engine here, Mr. Gattai himself. Seems appropriate that the Edo era sound effects and such should be connected to the Kabuki theater sounding engine. Now the interesting thing is, I've shown you several times now how this particular engine soul is very finicky when you stick it into Retsutaka and the others. Well, it seems that seems to be limited just to Retsutaka. I don't know if it's a change in the mold designs or whatever they are inside of Retsutaka or what. I don't know, okay? Just for whatever reason, it just happens to those three wandering engines. So the reason I chose Corrugator here is because I can activate both sound effect buttons at the same time. So, and, yeah. You get that sound effect all by itself, and then you get which is the same thing you hear, and then you hear the slashing sword effects. But in this case, that last sound effect is just got a couple of extra notes in it. In conclusion, for a repaint, I'd say this does pretty good. I like it a lot. It's obvious based off of the DX engine Gattai engine, but the DX engine DaiShōgun, for some reason, it just gives off it gives off a different aura from this guy. With the extra armor, the lip ferret, the crown, and the samurai sword. But the coloring also helps a lot. I think it's a good transition. It's a good repaint. It's got features that are different, but it's not phony features. It's not it's not over gimmicky. Well, that might be unfair. Maybe it is a little on the gimmicky side. In case you're wondering, the engine DaiShōgun, since it is a remold, has, with the exception of the head here and the blades here, this set is fully compatible with all the other engine sets, which means you have these clips here, you've got the holes here, you've got, let's see, I don't have all the engines as of the recording of this. You've got the holes up here, you got the holes here. You can put Engine G9's helmet onto there if you take the crown off. You can, stick Engine G12's belt plate or whatever it is on there. So this is fully compatible with all the sets, just as Engine O is. This is a good set. I like this. I do like it. So, this is Ava Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com, signing off.
共感どっとゴーオン構えてゴーオン大空雨雲塞いだ時でも太陽向こうでシャインアウェイ向こう見た時の連鎖闘志の両翼噛み合えば友情加速だエンジン戦隊ゴーオン